6 p.m. here in Cairo. Time for the news. We start our news with the headlines. President Sisi meets with Prime Minister Madbouli and Minister of Finance Ahmed Kojuk on boosting economy and national development. Egypt expresses concern over the latest developments in Iran and condemns the accelerating escalation. Israel faces missile attack as Iran says it reserved all options to defend. Welcome back. The news in detail. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi directed the continuation of intensive efforts aimed to enhance financial discipline through governmental measures that contribute to improve the performance of the Egyptian economy and supporting national development efforts. This came during President al-Sisi's meeting today with Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli and Minister of Finance Ahmed Kojuk. President al-Sisi also directed that all distinguished international experiences to be benefited from in order to achieve stability of financial and tax policies to improve the business climate, expand the tax base, attract more investments, increase production and exports, and increase employment opportunities. Cairo expressed concern over the latest developments in Iran. A foreign ministry statement condemned the accelerating, which it said possess the threats of dangerous repercussions to regional and international peace and security. Cairo also renewed warnings that the region is sliding into more chaos and tensions. It stressed that political solutions and diplomatic negotiations, not military action, are the only path towards an exit from the crisis and achieving a permanent settlement. It also renewed the call to end escalation, exercise self-restraint, and prioritize dialogue to protect civilian lives and achieve peace and security in the region. On the sidelines of the 51st round of OIC Foreign Ministers Council in Istanbul, Minister of Foreign Affairs, Migration and Expatriate Affairs Badr Abdel Ati convened today with Bangladesh Foreign Affairs Advisor Tawfiq Hussain. The meeting tackled the Egyptian-Bangladesh stance to combat terrorism. Abdel Ati stressed the vital role played by Egypt in this field. Foreign Minister Abdel Ati also expressed Egypt's concern towards the latest developments in the Middle East region, warning from the repercussions of dragging the region into more chaos and escalation. He reiterated that the only way to achieve peace and stability in the region is the political and diplomatic solutions. Foreign Minister also praised the historic relations between both countries, asserting Egypt's keenness to enhance bilateral relations in various fields. Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi said Iran strongly condemns the U.S. attacks as a violation of international law. He was speaking at a press conference on the sidelines of the meeting of the Organization of Islamic Cooperation in Istanbul on Sunday. He said the Israelis and the U.S. have blown up diplomacy. He said Tehran will continue to defend its sovereignty and people, stressing that the U.S. attack is a violation of the UN Charter. Araghchi also said the extent of damage is being investigated. He also added that the international community should condemn the attack. UN Security Council will meet tonight over U.S. strikes on Iran after the United States joined Israel's assault on Iran and hit the country's main nuclear sites overnight. Iran's ambassador to the United Nations earlier called today for the emergency meeting after what he described as heinous attacks and illegal use of force against Iran. The ambassador said that the UN's most powerful body must take all necessary measures to hold the U.S. accountable under international law and the UN Charter. Iran's parliament approved a closure to the Strait of Hormuz. Iran's press TV said on Sunday that the decision on this closure is not yet final and it depends on the approval of the Supreme National Security Council. Around 20% of global oil and gas demand flows through Hormuz Strait. Arab countries strongly condemned the U.S. airstrikes on nuclear facilities in Iran, warning of serious repercussions and calling for a return to diplomacy. Details in the coming report.
The Saudi Foreign Ministry underscored the need to exert all possible efforts to exercise restraint, de-escalate tensions, and avoid further escalation. Qatar said that dangerous tensions following U.S. strikes on Iran's nuclear sites would lead to catastrophic repercussions on both regional and international levels. In a statement, the Foreign Ministry deplored the deterioration of the status quo after the U.S. strikes. Meanwhile, Iraq warned that the U.S. attacks on its neighbor Iran's nuclear facilities threaten peace and stability in the Middle East. Government spokesperson Bassem Al-Awadi said that this military escalation constitutes a grave threat to peace and security in the Middle East and poses serious risks to regional stability. Also, Oman, which was mediating nuclear talks between Washington and Tehran, strongly condemned U.S. strikes on nuclear sites in Iran. The Gulf Sultanate expressed deep concern, denunciation, and condemnation of the escalation resulting from the direct airstrikes launched by the U.S. on sites in Iran. For his part, Lebanese Prime Minister Nawaf Salam said that Lebanon needs to stay away from any possible regional spillover from the conflict. He said that it is increasingly important for Lebanon to adhere strictly to the supreme national interest, which is the need to avoid Lebanon being drawn into the ongoing regional confrontation.
The French presidency said today that France will hold an emergency defense cabinet meeting later today to discuss the latest developments in the Middle East after the United States have launched airstrikes on Iran. The presidency said that Macron, who spoke to several leaders, including the Saudi Crown Prince, on the issue, will hold further talks with European and regional leaders during the day. It added that everything would now be done to speed up the departure of French citizens who wished to leave Iran and Israel. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer called on Iran to return to negotiating table of its nuclear ambitions after the U.S. carried out strikes on Iranian nuclear sites. He said that Iran can never be allowed to develop a nuclear weapon, and the U.S. has taken action to alleviate that threat, adding that stability in the region is a priority. China said that history have repeatedly shown that military interventions in the Middle East often produce unintended consequences, including prolonged conflicts and regional destabilization, citing the American invasion of Iraq in 2003. It said that a measured diplomatic approach that gives priority to dialogue over military confrontation offers the best hope for stability in the Middle East. The state broadcaster said that the U.S. strikes mark a dangerous turning point. European Union Foreign Policy Chief Kaja Kallas urged all sides to step back and return to negotiating table after U.S. forces have struck 3 Iranian nuclear sites. Kallas said that Iran must not be allowed to develop a nuclear weapon. She added that EU foreign ministers will discuss the situation tomorrow. With this, my dear viewers, we come to the end of the news bulletin. My name is Amal Mukhtar. Thank you for watching.